Now, first off, I want to make it clear that I'm going to make a few statements. I'll allow you to ask a couple of questions to my co-counsel, and then we are allowed to leave to my car without any interference from the media. Can we all agree on that?
Yes.
All right. First off, we want to say how saddened we are by this discovery. If this does not turn out to be Kaylee Marie Anthony, this is somebody's child, and nothing could be more depressing than that. So some family somewhere will suffer as a result of this, and we're very disturbed by that. What we tried to accomplish today in court was to basically preserve the integrity of whatever evidence comes into court. We're not about secret proceedings. We're not about secret investigation and scientific tests. Science is science. It should speak for itself, and it shouldn't be manipulated. And if it can, then it's not science. In this case, before the Oak Ridge Laboratory report came out, there was a test of the air that was found not conclusive. Of course, none of you ever received notice of that until maybe 5 months later, and I think it made one blip on the news media and one little story, and everybody forgot about that. You got two conflicting results, and nobody says anything when it comes to anything exculpatory when it has to do with KC, and that disturbs us, which is why we want in as quickly as possible, and to be able to inspect it in the same manner in which it is, and to be able to, to be able to inspect it appropriately. We have qualified people, the best in the business, reviewing this evidence, so we will be able to actually verify it independently, and that's all we're asking for, nothing more. And we're not even asking to hide it. We're allowing them to observe whatever it is we do. I have mentioned for many weeks now, and I know a lot of people haven't paid attention, or it's been discounted, that I have been forming a defense team, and Miss Kenny Bodden is just another member of our team who is brought on in her area, which is forensic science. And as you know, you already know Mr. Walsh as well as Mr. Kaysen and several of our experts. I'm not about pumping our chest and flaunting who we have or who we're bringing in. You'll see it when they come. We just want to do things right and do a professional job for Miss Anthony. So I'll turn over any questions you have to my friend and co-counsel, Linda Kenny Bodden.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely to be in Florida from cold New York.
Could you say spell your name for us?
Kenney, new word, Baden, first name Linda.
Can you talk about the tentative ID that...
Sure. I've been doing forensic work since I was in the prosecutor's office in New Jersey and Monmouth County since 1980. And a medical examiner always makes a tentative ID on a case. And before DNA, what was now a tentative ID would always be an official ID because you didn't have DNA until the early 90s. So there's always dental records, there is hair color, there are charts in terms of age, when you have skeletal remains or partially skeletal remains. And so there's always a tentative ID in any medical examiner's office as to who they think the person is. And then they do a confirmation with regular DNA. That's been my experience, and I'd be quite surprised if the medical examiner's office is sitting out there and saying, oh, this is somebody unknown, and we're devoting all this time and all this energy and all this press and all these objections because we don't believe that this is the child. I think that you'll find that
based on what you've heard from investigators, do you believe that this is Kaylee?
Well, we believe there's certainly enough of an indication right now for us to come here with a motion for an inspection and preservation.
How do you feel that the motion was denied to have you guys in on the autopsy?
I'm sorry.
How do you feel that the motion was denied to let you guys in on the autopsy?
I think the judge said that we could come back, and we're very grateful for Judge Strickland on that. I think he was trying to conform Florida law with the rights of somebody who has been accused of what would be a horrible crime, and that he is doing his best to do so. We just feel very sorry that the state and the county and the medical examiner couldn't feel that they couldn't open their process up, open it up, for us to see when we were asking to do nothing, touch nothing, but to see when we agreed to open it back up. And we're sorry they couldn't feel that. And if there are any ramifications from that at trial, they'll have to suffer the consequences, we hope.
Why would the rights of the deceased to a private autopsy trump the rights of a defendant to be able to view an autopsy? I mean, that obviously everyone's got a right to an autopsy in the state of Florida. Why should any defense attorney or defendant be able to witness that?
Well, in many states you are allowed to witness it. So here I think there was a reliance by the prosecution on the Dale Earnhardt case, which we believe, and Mr. Baez can speak to that better, is totally inappropriate. That only speaks to pictures. Remember that if this is the daughter of Casey Anthony, if this is little Caylee Anthony, she is still the mother of this child, and she's still presumed innocent. And like any person, she would have a right to see remains, to view remains, and to hopefully deal with the remains in a manner that would be appropriate scientifically.
You mentioned hair samples in the court. You were saying that the sheriff's office said that they may tentatively have something.
I would defer that to Mr. Baez. He actually had the conversation.
Well, I'm not going to comment on any conversations I have with law enforcement or the state attorney's office. That's my standard thing. It's my standard rule. I commented. You have to rely on the record in court, and I'm going to leave at that.
Jose, you've got a slew of experts. Who's paying for all these people to fly in and look at this stuff and for their expertise in this case?
First of all, I think it's an inappropriate question, and it really doesn't. I don't think it's any concern of anyone who's paying for all of this, and I'll leave it at that. It's confidential information, and I'm not about disclosing confidential information.
How's Casey doing?
I'm sorry?
How's Casey doing?
She's doing the best she can. She's really struggling, has struggled since the beginning of this case, and we're doing our best to keep her focused and to allow her every opportunity to contribute to the defense.
Now,
I'll take one more question and then we're going to go.
On the crime scene handoff?
I'm not going to comment on that because that might jeopardize, someone interfering with that, and I don't think it's the right thing to do.
It sounds like you're
Is
going
it
to get
true
it
she had a
tonight.
panic attack? Is that true? What the media reported? One station.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There was anxiety.
Yeah.
Can you describe her?
Is that true?
More that you can say about how she took the news yesterday?
I think that's evident, it's not something that someone takes well. I don't think it's appropriate for me to comment on any conversations or any actions of my client that were done within the attorney-client confines, so I'll just leave it at that.
Can you talk about how her parents are doing? Can you talk to them?
Yes, I will say this about the parents. They need their privacy. Since this case began, they haven't had an ounce of privacy in this matter, and they've been attacked, vilified by numerous people, and including protesters and in some rare instances media. I think you guys should give them their space. I think they need their space until an actual determination is made, and even after a determination is made, allow them to grieve or rejoice in whatever way they choose to. So I would just ask you guys to, govern yourselves accordingly. Remember, picture this as maybe your family and how you would want your privacy. And I truly think, I don't think anyone would disagree what the Anthony family has gone through in this case. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. And let's all, if we can do one thing, it's all come together and give them the respect that they need and deserve.
Will you let
Thank
them
you.
talk to Casey now?